What's up, you guys? Ritzy here with another Pokemon VGC video. Today I'm taking a look at Moxie Boosted's Hail Team. I know he's doing videos on this right now. I don't have enough of a following to steal his thunder anyway, but Arctozolt is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon ever. It's so derpy, but in a cute, fun way. I used one on my team in my first playthrough of Sword and Shield, and I still use it when I'm just playing around in the game. And I just really want to see what we can get done with this choice band Arctozolt with Slush Rush. So I've never actually tried Arctozolt with Slush Rush. I've tried some Arctozolt teams before before it got its hidden ability. We'll have that next to a Sashed Ninetales, a Life Orb Venusaur set, which I'm interested to try, especially without any way to set the sun. Moxie Boosted, patented, and just for him, this is his Incineroar 2, he calls it. Very physically bulky Calyrex with Bulldoze to proc the weakness policy of Solgaleo, which has honestly been one of my favorite restricteds to use in Series 12. And then a good old-fashioned white herb Swords Dance Landorus. I have a new alt because I'm not super confident in my ability to run this team. So let's see what kind of interesting stuff we can find in the low ladder. If I feel like I'm doing a really good job, maybe we'll take this to, see, I'm 1075. Play like 2 or 3 games on this account, just testing some stuff out. And we've got a pretty good team, nothing too wonky that you sometimes see in these lower level showdown matches. It's the Groudon, Charizard, Gastrodon, Grimmsnarl, Regieleki, and the Eternatus. This, to me, the unfortunate bit is that Charizard is faster than Solgaleo. I think Landorus is actually a really good lead, which is unfortunately also slower than the Charizard. But I should be able to distract it well enough with, or let's think about this for a second. Let's try the Arctozolt. And then lead it alongside maybe the Landorus with Ninetales in the back to reset the weather against that Groudon. And then maybe the Calyrex. So they actually do lead the Groudon Charizard. So that is... Oh, we're getting a Groudon Charizard Eternatus Gastrodon. Is this one of those things where the Wolfie, they're going to tell me every move they make and try to beat me? Let's find out. So there's not really a safe switch into a Bolt Beak straight into the Charizard. And am I more scared of that than the Groudon? I think I am because of Gmax Wildfire. So let's go ahead and do that and then bring in my Ninetales. So they're not going to tell me what they did. At least not this turn. Bolt Beak. Ooh, that is fun. And then the Fire Punch comes in. Okay, Arctozolt. Okay. That was pretty bulky. Oh, I guess the Intimidated had gone off. Now, these are both ground types. I can't Bolt Beak, so I think I'm just going to cycle in another Intimidate, and I'm going to get a Freeze Dry off onto the Gastrodon because Yawn would be really annoying. Okay, Eternatus switches in. Freeze Dry. Going to pick up another one-hit KO. Very, very good game for the Moxie Boosted Hail team so far. Groudon's back in. Now, the Eternatus can be pretty annoying with a Dynamax Cannon into Landorus, which is what's probably going to happen. This Landorus set doesn't have Protect. So I wonder if I just don't... I might just sack my Arctozolt. It did more than enough. And then I'll pop an Icy Wind to get that Eternatus speed down. Meteor Beam into Ninetales, but I got my Sash. Icy Wind's up. That's some big damage, Ninetales. Okay. and then Fire Punch into the Arctozolt, which does knock it out because there was no Intimidate. So I'm gonna bring Landorus in again, and there's no switch out for these guys. So I think at this point, Groudon's intimidated. I'm going to Max Quake the Eternatus. I don't. No, let's Max Airstream. Because I should be able to also get an Icy Wind off, and this should be enough to KO it. And if it protects, I get even more speed control. Max Airstream does take out the Eternatus. And then Groudon just takes out the Ninetales. Oops, and I accidentally clicked last turn, so skip to end. And we get the win. Man, this team is fun. And I know this is low ladder, so maybe I do end up taking it high as I learn it. And here's some of that more unpredictable stuff that you see. This is a Zygarde team with Incineroar, Incineroar 2. Actually, probably not. It's probably just Sash Calyrex. We've got the Dusclops, the Ferrothorn, and the Moltres. I I do want to bring Arctozolt and do that, but I'm afraid of an Incineroar lead, which, I mean, I have the choice band, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I think I want to try and clean up at the end, so maybe we lead the Incineroar, Incineroar 2, excuse me, and Solgaleo to do some weakness policy shenanigans, and then we bring the Hail Core in the back to see if we can clean up. So, yep, there's the Incineroar lead, and the Ferrothorn. Okay, so let's take a look at what I want to do. Iron defense stuff would be really annoying. So I could Wisp. Let's see what I got here on the Solgaleo. You probably don't go for Fake Out on the Solgaleo because of you think I'm maxing, which I think I'm going to. And I'm going to Quake into the Ferrothorn and see how much damage we can do here. Oh, it did go for Fake Out. Okay, so we get the Bulldoze off. No Shuka Berry on the Incineroar, so that's good to know for next turn. Weakness policy's up. And we get a crit, and that's still not enough to take out the Ferrothorn, which uses Leech Seed, and that is incredibly annoying. Ferrothorn's probably going to protect, and I don't want to give it more. Do we see an item? Is it also lefties? It is. I don't want to give it that much recovery, and it's probably going to protect, so I'm going to switch in the Ninetales and go for another Quake, this time into Incineroar. Yep, there's a Protect from Ferrothorn. Knock out the Incineroar, so that'll be really good for my Arctozolt later. We can't get that Intimidate cycle going onto it. Let's see what they bring in. The Calyrex Shadow. Now, this guy can do some major damage. What's my plan here? I could set up Aurora Veil. I've got 2 special defense boosts out, actually. And I think I am going to Aurora Veil. Alright. Now let's Icy Wind. To at least make it slower than my Calyrex Shadow. Or if I... Because I think I'm going to target the Ferrothorn. I don't want a Ferrothorn late game nonsense. Max Phantasm isn't enough to knock me out, as I predicted. Still did a ton of damage, though. We missed the Ferrothorn, but that's okay. I needed the speed drop on Calyrex. Max Quake does take out the Ferrothorn, and I am happy with this position now. Because Ferrothorn is very, very annoying, and here comes the Zygarde. So I've got some options here with my Ninetales. I could do another Icy Wind, or I could put up an Aurora Veil. I think I'm okay with the Icy Wind. Get some chip off. Actually, let's maybe just drop a Freeze Dry on that Zygarde, see how much damage we can do. And Sunsteel Strike. I don't want this thing setting up, and my own Calyrex should be able to take care of their Calyrex. Oh, we get the freeze. They get a berry, and the freeze doesn't matter, which always makes me feel good. They actually target the Ninetales instead of the Solgaleo, maybe predicting a Protect. course, the freeze. I mean, didn't matter. I knocked you out. Zygarde didn't get a chance to move. I was faster. So now I think, just for fun, we try the Hypnosis and then a Sunsteel Strike again. We missed the Hypnosis, which, I mean, is to be expected. Big damage. Phantasm takes out the Solgaleo. Bring in the Arctozolt. And then we'll just do Freeze Dry as 100% accuracy and Bolt Beak. There we go. Arctozolt did clean up technically. These have been some quick, easy games, so let's fit in one more. I see no problem in doing that. And this team's actually surprisingly a lot easier to pilot than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be awkward with the weather wars with hail, and then Venusaur without a way to set sun, which I haven't brought it, but I also haven't needed to. And I don't think we've faced like horrible teams like you sometimes see in the low ladder. And this, I don't want to say is horrible, but it's definitely interesting to see the Mewtwo, the Shedinja. I'm a big fan of Hitmontop. I think it's just outclassed by Incineroar too much. Tornadus, Galarian Zapdos, and the Zacian. Now, do you bring Shedinja seeing that I have a Hail team? I would guess that you don't, unless you're safety goggles, which could be an option. I think the biggest problem I would have with this team is the Tornadus setting up Tailwind, which would make it very hard for Arctozolt to do a lot, at least in the beginning. I'm kind of down to lead the Calyrex again with maybe... Do I want to go with Solgaleo or Landorus? I think Solgaleo's good. I like Landorus. I like the Intimidate potential onto the Zacian. Oh, but we've got a Defiant Zapdos. So no, let's just bring the Hail team in the back. So it's the Tornadus and the Mewtwo. I think normally I would go like Bulldoze, but because of that Mewtwo there, I think Astral Barrage would do a lot. I could also Snarl. But since I don't have the speed control to mitigate damage in the beginning, I think we're just going to go for an Astral Barrage and a Quake into the Mewtwo and see what we can get done. They have Shedinja as a switch into Max Quake. Well, is Zapdos a... No, I think that's still safe. I can't see you switching in on a Quake with anything. Yeah, and the Mewtwo just maxes. So Galeo maxes. Mewtwo's naturally faster anyway, so the Tailwind didn't really matter. Max Lightning does a little less than half. Big ol' Astro Barrage. Crits the Tornadus. Weakness Policy Mewtwo, huh? That's fun. So the Mewtwo could probably take out my Calyrex this turn. How much damage did I do with Quake? 26%. So I'm gonna just attempt to Astro Barrage again. I probably won't live, but then I'll Steel Spike. That should be enough to KO. Scary Face doesn't work on Solgaleo, which is fine. Incineroar 2 gets knocked out, and Steel Spike is enough to KO the Mewtwo. So we get rid of their max. Let's bring in Ninetales, set the Hail. There's the Zacian. You think the Zacian would target the Ninetales probably? I'm going to... Let's see. Arctozolt is faster than Max Speed Zacian. So maybe I try... I think I just Icy Wind anyway. And I want to get rid of this Tornadus so that we don't have any more Tailwind to worry about when my Arctozolt comes in, which should be able to clean up the back. Oh, Shedinja, you did bring it. Very interesting. So the Icy Wind does not hit the Shedinja, and I miss the Zacian, and Steel Spike's not going to do anything. So are you Sash? You are Safety Goggles. Okay. How do I win this? I don't know if I can. I don't have anything to hit you, do I? don't. Okay, that's very interesting. So I'm going to try to hypnosis it because I don't really have any other options. And then I'm going to steel spike the Zacian. Oh, and you're just going to knock out my Solgaleo right here. And I missed the hypnosis. Wow, I didn't think you dared bring in the Shedinja, and I was playing as if it wasn't in the back. And as soon as they took out my Calyrex, they felt comfortable bringing it in, and it did happen to be safety goggles. Wow. Very, very well played by my opponent. We're going to attempt the hypnosis again, and we're going to go for a funny bolt beacon to the Zacian, which protects. Unfortunate. Bolt beak gets blocked. Miss again. Yeah, this is going to be GG's. But a fun game. I don't think I did a whole lot wrong except maybe underestimating my opponent and how they were piloting this team. And that just goes to show in Pokemon VGC, you can win with pretty much anything. And that isn't to say I'm like a master player or a horrible player or that I'm just going to win games with Arctozolt and then lose to Mewtwo Shedinja for any other reason than just my opponent playing really well. We're going to attempt another hypnosis and bolt victimization. Yeah, well played by my opponent. These are games that I don't mind losing. That's a lot of fun to see how other people play and the creative teams they can put together. Once again, here's Moxie Boosted's Hail Team. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, and I will link the first video that he introduced this team in the description, and I'll also put the PokePaste that I created for this team so you can use it as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the games, and I'll catch you next time.